Hi, my name is Clodagh Cremen and I'm a clinical psychologist. So what that means is I work with people who have mental health difficulties and often people with disabilities as well. And I use information which is gathered through the discipline of science and through research practices to try and help them cope with those difficulties. So I use what's called evidence-based practice and I work in a clinical setting. At the minute, I'm working in a hospital, so every day is really busy. It's often very chaotic. I find that a little bit exciting, to be honest. I work with loads of different professionals, so I work with doctors and nurses and physios and speech therapists, and the list goes on. There's loads of people who work in hospitals, which I really enjoy. And at the minute, I'm supporting people who have physical health difficulties and often mental health difficulties as well. I'd say my favourite part of my job is working with patients, and that's because that's the part of the work that I probably find the most meaningful. So in my job, people often tell me really private and personal information, about their lives and about things that they're struggling with. And I find that that's a really privileged position to be in because they're trusting you, and they're trusting you with stuff that's really important. So I find that to be really rewarding, and that's probably why that's the part of my job I like the most. The other part of my job that I really like is the maths and statistics, which I didn't really realize would be a part of psychology when I started, but it is, and at first I found it really hard, but now I'm much better at it. So I like that part of my job now. And I also like the fact that my job supports my life outside of work. It gives me the freedom to do the things that I want to do. Life is more than just work. So I like the fact that I'm able to do other things as well outside of work and that I have that freedom. Being an adult is kind of expensive, which I would not have thought about when I was younger, but yeah, it is, just FYI. And then I don't like the admin at all. That's because I struggle a little bit with my attention. So I find admin and that kind of stuff to be harder because I can be a little bit forgetful at times. So on days where I have to write lots of notes or letters or make phone calls or that kind of stuff, I'm always worried that I'm going to forget something kind of important. So I don't really like that part of my job. And then I got to be a clinical psychologist by doing my leaving cert firstly. And I didn't get my first choice in my leaving cert. I don't think I was even close. I think I got my fifth choice. But that's okay because it was actually the best thing that happened. I did the Bachelor of Science in Maynooth University, the Bachelor of Science in Psychology, which was the best thing I ever did. It was the best 4 years of my life. I absolutely loved every second of it. And then I did a master's then after that, and I worked at the same time. It was only for 1 day a week or 2 days a week or something like that, so I could work whilst I was doing it. And then I worked for a few years, and then I did the PhD in clinical psychology, which is a 3-year course and it's funded, so I was paid whilst I was doing it. But it was hard to get onto, so it took me a few years of applying to get onto it. So there were a few setbacks along the way, obviously, that's a part of life. But I'm sure at the minute you guys are all trying to figure out what you want to do. So I hope that this is helpful to you, and that you find whatever it is in life that you're passionate about. I'm sure you'll all go off and do great things and make the world a little bit better. So I'd like to wish you the very best of luck with it.